Thank you for joining JTV News. I'm Peter Gay Coombs. Coming up, Communications and Works Minister again voices frustration with unreliable internet speeds.
World's Telecom Day and our theme, and I'm not sure what level we're talking about, but taking broadband in the BVI to another level. I don't know whether the level is up or down or across.
Is an unseen hand of the UK creeping into the territory's affairs?
We're just not getting the answers from the Premier. I think the Premier knows a whole lot more than he's saying, and if he doesn't, then we're in a sad situation.
Athletics Association calls on business community to do more to support athletes.
We have a very large corporate BVI, and I'm also reaching out to you guys to come forth and offer your support to athletics.
The BVI's Sheldon Frets takes his film career to the next level.
Thank you for tuning in to the series finale of Shots Fired. Just another small goal in my big dream. I have so much more in store. I'm going to finish out this year strong and get this degree and get back into filming. I really appreciate the support. As I said, success is a journey, not a destination. Thank you for riding with me on this journey.
The territory and the Caribbean caution to take Cuba's resurgence seriously.
Cuba, the great disruption for the good of the Caribbean.
In Hot Trends, Swirls mixes it up with new menu offerings to tantalize your taste buds. Kyron McMaster Fever, the rising athletic superstar, tells the big story where he goes from here. In Caribbean news, a near general election sweep by independent candidates places coalition government on the cards in Cayman, and Liat pilots call off industrial action. In our Medical Minute segment, did you know that there are cancer prevention strategies that you can take? Dr. Geronimo Jones tells us what they are in our Mayo Clinic Medical Minute. The details of these and much more are on the other side of this break.
This is us. This is how we work. This is how we play. This is how we live. This is us. This is how we flow.
Welcome back to JTV News. Minister of Communications and Works Mark Vanterpool restated his concern about slow internet speeds across the territory while speaking at the Telecommunications Regulatory Commission (TRC's) video competition prize-giving ceremony for World Telecommunication and Information Society Day.
I told a story one time of a guest that I had at one of my villas. He is in the business of what you call day trading. Next morning when he woke up to go and start trading, he realized that his download speed, he can't even get the things down to make a trade. It was so slow. So he said to me, what time is the next boat to St. Thomas? And he did get on the boat and went down on a 9 o'clock boat. When he came back, I said, I think we got up at 2 or 3, whatever we did. He tried that, worked okay, but he wasn't happy for the week. Needless to say, he didn't come back to my villa after that.
That embarrassing example was given by the Minister of Communication and Works when he expressed dissatisfaction with the internet speed in the BVI in spite of recent infrastructural upgrades. In comparing the territory's broadband connectivity speed to other countries in the region, the minister disclosed that he would be working with the TRC to engage consumers in order to inform conversations with telecoms providers to get the BVI on par with its modern counterparts.
According to this internet download, which might be true or not true because it says the BVI highest download speed is 48 megs. According to the internet. Cayman Islands 300, Curacao 100, Dominica 50, Grenada 100, Guyana 10, Jamaica 200, St. Kitts 48, St. Lucia 100. I want to encourage the chairman, and he and I chatted about it, and the CEO, to have some kind of symposium with the users, not with the view of trying to expose you, but with the view to get feedback from the customers and a discussion and see how we can get to where we're going to. And if we're there already, tell us how we can better utilize your services so that we can get better. Because it's not about bashing you or trying to, we just want to get it done, get on with it, and be able to enjoy the modern day speeds that are available out there with broadband and be able to enjoy it, pay for it at a reasonable rate.
Venting his frustration with the difficulties experienced by some across the BVI in obtaining consistent internet speed, Minister Vanterpool reminded that the government has a mandate to ensure the territory enjoys the highest standards of internationally accepted telecommunications infrastructure. He added that since August of 2016, LTE spectrums were awarded to telecoms players Flow, Digicel and local firm CCT to allow them to roll out LTE technology. The minister had kind words and appreciation for the investments being made by all three local telecoms operators, but also made it clear that the government has a responsibility to indigenous companies such as CCT.
World's Telecom Day and our theme, and I'm not sure what level we're talking about, but taking broadband in the BVI to another level. I don't know whether the level is up or down or across, but hopefully it's up, and we want to make sure that happens. So we want to encourage our good operators who are doing a wonderful job compared to what we used to have before, but we want to let them know that enough is not enough, really. We're not satisfied, we want to get better. And people misunderstand me when I tell them I want to make sure that our local company, CCT, survive and are able to compete. Just like they say in America and they say in Britain and they say everywhere else. Yes, BVI Islanders first.
Local athletes continue to rise to the top in various categories of sports, especially in athletics. Cognizant of the fact that government cannot do it all and personal finances of parents may be running thin, the BVI Athletics Association is appealing to the private sector. Kathy?
PTA, there is no doubting the fact that parents have been pouring personal funds as an investment into the future of their children. But it's not only the parents and their children that gets the glory in the end. The entire BVI does, and the name of the territory flies high. So calling for support from the business sector is well in order.
To government, we know that you guys have continued to support BVI Athletics, and I hope and trust that Karen's accomplishment here today reinforces the need for you to continue to support BVI Athletics. And I won't stop there, because I made it clear to my executive earlier today, as long as they put me on the podium, I'm going to reach out, because we have a very large corporate BVI. And I'm also reaching out to you guys to come forth and offer your support to athletics. There's quite a bit of things happening in the athletic arena. We can use your support. You can see the results of what we're able to do with not very large funding and monies. And I'm sure with greater support from corporate BVI, we can definitely do a whole lot.
Mr. Augustine made that plea as the territory surrounded the star athlete Karen McMaster upon his return from the Jamaica Invitational Meet, where he rose to the top, becoming the #1 in the world in the 400-meter hurdles. He was at the welcome and the celebration ceremony for McMaster, which was held at the Breezeway at the Central Administration Complex on May 22, where Premier and Minister of Finance Dr. D. Orlando Smith pledged the government's continued support.
It shows that BVI Islanders can do what they need to do to achieve their full potential left, as one of my colleagues was saying, once they get the proper encouragement. And I want to say that my government will continue to give that encouragement that is needed for children. Apart from their own personal fulfillment, of course, this helps from a tourism point of view because it puts BVI on the map.
Athletes themselves have been lobbying for more funding from government and the business sector, something that Minister for Education and Culture, Mr. Myron Walwyn, can attest to, especially in the case of Kyron McMaster.
We started to talk, and I was asking him about college and what you were doing and your strategy and so on. And he has a plan in his mind for what he wants for himself and his athletic career. But then he also mentioned to me that he is also concerned about the other athletes as well, and things that we can do to make things better for them so that they can reach to the level that he's at. And that shows that he's somebody who cares about people.
Now, while on one hand, Kyron and the BVIAA is going to hold the education minister to his words,
I said to him, well, those behind, I will hold the strain for them.
on the other hand, BVI athletes are positive that they can do so much better should corporate BVI hop on board in a bigger way. For JTV News, I'm Kathy Richards.
I see a troubling scenario developing.
That troubling scenario, alluded to by Representative of the 3rd District, Julian Fraser, is one which he sees as the United Kingdom creeping into key government positions here in the British Virgin Islands ahead of locals. The seasoned legislator has placed a public voice to that concern, discussed in hushed tones up until now. Subsequent to Governor John Duncan's appointment of Phil Sharman as Auditor General, Mr. Fraser turned up his nose, stating that something doesn't smell right. To further delve into this issue with Mr. Fraser, I sat down with him.
It is obvious to me that those particular positions that are being held by UK nationals are key positions in a strategy that I believe is playing itself out, where the government is under serious threat of being investigated. And leading that investigation is the governor, in my view. And these positions that he has filled will pursue that particular agenda that the governor is having. I am afraid that because the government seems to have gotten wind of it, it creates an atmosphere of unease within the government and their ability to govern the territory. We are actually developing this country, leaving our people behind. I think the Premier knows a whole lot more than he's saying, and if he doesn't, then we're in a sad situation. Mm-hmm. What you saw in Facebook from me was what I consider to be the tip of a spear. There's not just a PAC chairman, you got a commissioner of police, you got a director of public prosecution, you got the commissioner of prison, and you got an auditor general. So this is a puzzle with many pieces.
You seem to be of the view that the government, or maybe the Premier at least, is aware of this underbelly coming out of the UK. But is there anything at all that they can do to stop it, starting with putting an end to the appointment of additional UK nationals to prominent posts in central government?
Listen, my view is that it is being done from a position of weakness. If the Premier and the government stands up and then know that no one can dangle anything over their heads, they can stand up. Stand right up and tell the governor, listen, that position will be filled by a BVI national or someone of our choosing. And end of story. But if you're weak, if you're in a position of weakness, if you lost your strength, you have to capitulate. And that's what I feel is happening right now.
What's your response to persons who have said and are saying that you're just bitter why you've made such a comment?
I don't know if the truth has anything to do with bitterness. Who put him there? So it's his own personal preference. He decided that that's what he wanted to do. He has an agenda.
Cuba has been described as a sleeping tourism giant that has been awakened by the softening of diplomatic relations with the United States under former President Barack Obama. In 2016 alone, it's reported that the Spanish-speaking communist nation of 11 million people welcomed a record 4 million tourists, and in spite of a decline in Canadian visitors of over 300,000, an increase by 200,000 in 2017 is predicted from European and American markets. Similar to other tourism-dependent destinations in the region, the BVI's main tourist market is the United States, and Cuba is expected to eat into that spread. In fact, the CEO and Director General of the Caribbean Tourism Association, Frank Comito, refers to the resurgence of Cuba as a great disruption.
Cuba, the great disruption for the good of the Caribbean, because I think it's a wake-up call for us. We've got to be better at what we do. And you look at how they incorporate culture and cuisine and other aspects of their local, their music into the tourist experience, how the architecture is it's crumbling in a lot of areas, but it's incredibly developed in Old Havana and so on, and what they're doing to preserve and protect that. And I look and I go down Main Street and I look at some gems of architecture that you have here on Main Street, and then I see spots of blight. And it's like it reminds me what architect Jackson Burnside said. He said, a downtown street is like a smile, and you take a tooth out of the smile, and what's it look like?
Anchored by its old world charm, Cuba boasts 9 UNESCO World Heritage Sites and 6 UNESCO Biosphere Reserves, as well as the region's second largest reef. The United States' gradual loosening of travel access amid its more than half-a-century-year-old economic embargo, the advent of several commercial flights, and the return of cruise ships, 2 of them for now out of France and Miami, should not be ignored by tourism-dependent countries such as the BVI, which recently invested in a multi-million-dollar cruise pair.
The cruise lines all over the place there right now. And that will cause some displacement, I guarantee you. And U.S. policy implications under Trump are uncertain. Definite slowdown on lifting the embargo, possible reversal, not likely. There's 12 categories, classifications for reason for U.S. citizens to travel there. They may tighten that up and say, hey, it doesn't apply.
As with any good news, there is always caution. Cuba's economic and tourism infrastructure as it stands is poised for takeoff, but there are built-in challenges to growth and customer satisfaction, such as quality hotels and service, product diversification, and antiquated infrastructure.
A little bit of a challenge is that they have low spend. Hotel growth, 3,000 rooms in 2014. They bumped up. They're projected to go to 20,000. Another 20,000 more by 2020. They're planning 104,000 by 2030. Poor infrastructure, roads. So they have challenges, but they're in the game, and they've been in the game. They're very aggressive.
A study sponsored by the IMF in 2008, which evaluated how a shift in U.S. policy towards Cuba would impact the region, anticipates that the influx of American travelers to Cuba would max out speedily, forcing more non-U.S. travelers to seek out other destinations within the region. So how should the BVI and other tourist destinations in the region respond to the great disruption of Cuba and others like it, other than targeting new and emerging markets?
Our education and employment needs to be much more adaptable and reflective to what we need. Public needs to be better aware of what tourism means and how it impacts everybody. Product differentiation and authenticity, we've got to work on that. That makes us different than the rest of the world. Our interregional airlift, our airfares and the taxation, and at the individual business level, our aging tourism plans.
Mr. Comito was addressing a recent luncheon of the BVI CCHA. On Wednesday, May 24, throughout the BVI, all eyes were glued to Fox Channel to catch a glimpse of Sheldon Frets' appearance in the season finale of an event series, Shots Fired, a reaction to his promising career he is very happy to have from his home people. Kathy Richards tells us more.
Social media was bursting at its seams as word got out about local youth Sheldon Frets' role in one of the USA's most popular event series, Shots Fired.
Yes, he was, as was I. We need to burn this place down.
Born to BVI landers Mr. Petito Fret and Valerie Fret, Sheldon A. Fret has been making waves in the theater arts, appearing in some high-end movies, TV series, and commercials in the USA. Remember his role in the film Get On Up, the James Brown movie, and the pilot episode of TV show Red Brand Society, and Bond, a short film he produced and starred that opened the doors?
Mom, I'm sorry. I just missed you.
Now, while being ever grateful to his parents for their ever encouragement, he is in awe at the outpouring of support he is also now receiving from his home people, especially as word got around about his part to play in Shots Fired.
And hello, British Virgin Islands. Thank you, BVI, for riding with me on this journey. Success is a journey, not a destination. Words greatly shared by Ben Sweetland. So I want to thank you guys for riding with me on this journey. It's not an overnight thing. It takes a lot of hard work and dedication. And that's what led me to London so I can continue training and get my master's in classical acting at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art. My friend Viola Davis said, remain a student of the craft. Once you know how to act, they can never tell you no. So I'm halfway through my master's. I got about 6 more months before I graduate and get back into the film world.
But there is more in the purse for Fret.
Before coming to train in London, I did 2 major motion pictures. I got an opportunity and was blessed to film 2 major motion pictures. The first one, Vincent and Roxy, starring Zoe Kravitz and Emile Hirsch. And the second one is The Book of Love, starring Jessica Biel and Jason Sudeikis. Right after finishing those movies, I was granted an opportunity to get an episode on the hit TV series Shots Fired. So if you have watched it already, thank you for supporting me on the season finale of Shots Fired.
Now a humble Sheldon Fret covets the earnest prayers of the BVI as he presses on in his career.
I just want to say thank you guys. I really appreciate the support. After I graduate, there's so many things in store that I can't even disclose at this time. If you ever need to see what I'm up to, just check me out on imdb.com, which is the Internet Movie Database, and just type in my name, Sheldon Fret. I'm always trying to stay present with you guys so you know that this is bigger than me. It's not just Sheldon Fret. It's actually the entire British Virgin Islands.
Sheldon Frets is a product of the H. Laverty Stout Community College, who went on to further his studies at the University of Tampa, where he graduated with his bachelor's degree in business management and a minor in theater arts. It was after graduating in 2009 he decided to take on the acting profession with further studies. For JTV News, Kathy Richards.
Still to come on JTV News, in the big story, athletic sensation Karen McMaster taking the world by storm. But first, all the news making headlines in the Caribbean.
Here in the Virgin Islands, we are blessed to live and work in paradise. Paradise just doesn't mean our tranquil blue waters and green hills. National Bank of the Virgin Islands defines paradise as any place or condition that fulfills your aspirations. To me, paradise means knowing that I will have a financing partner when I'm ready to open my first business. I feel confident that I can manage whatever life throws my way because I know my bank will be with me every step of the way. That's why I choose National Bank of the Virgin Islands, the official bank of paradise.
My future's looking so bright, 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 with the official bank of paradise,
National Bank of the Virgin Islands, the official bank of paradise.
A coalition government could be the way forward for the next administration that will oversee the affairs of the Cayman Islands. The results of the May 24 general elections show that independent candidates have showed up the two main parties, though they were 1 seat short of the 10 required in the 19-member Legislative Assembly. The Progressive Movement Party, led by Alden McLaughlin, which formed the previous government, won 7 seats but lost the seats of 3 sitting ministers. The main opposition Cayman Democratic Party, led by Makiva Bush, took 3 seats. The turnout in the 2017 general elections of 74.8% under the new one-man, one-vote system was lower than the 79.8% in the last elections in 2013. The Leeward Islands Airline Pilots Association, LEALPA, has withdrawn its threat to take industrial action to have a protracted wage agreement enacted by LEAT. The restive pilots decided against a strike after an informal agreement at a meeting on May 24. The informal agreement to resolve LEAT's failure to implement a new salary structure agreed in 2012 will be sent to the Industrial Court in Antigua on Monday. And St. Lucian Prime Minister Alan Chastany has described the opposition St. Lucia Labour Party SLP as being on a trail of destruction with a divisive game, asserting that his cabinet and party is not deterred while seeking to reassure investors. Mr. Chastany's statement follows massive protests by opposition supporters last week, which were in turn met by groups in support of the ruling United Workers' Party UWP. The demonstrations, led by supporters of the St. Lucia Labour Party, were called to publicly decry the decisions and policies of the UWP.
Coming up next on JTV News, the big story, athletic star Karen McMaster on his rise to athletic superstardom.
This is us. This is how we work. This is how we play. This is how we live. This is how we flow.
If you're looking for extra savings and free benefits
with car insurance
and home insurance,
Colonial has just the cover you need.
there's a free $250 gift voucher for new home insurance customers too, and 10% car insurance discount if you have home insurance.
With a claim service that's quick and friendly.
We call it cover without added costs.
Call for a quote on 494-8450 or Virgin Gorda 495-6403 or visit cgigroup.com.
Colonial, where people come first.
Welcome to TAA. We provide 24-hour roadside assistance on Tortola. We help provide freedom and peace of mind to our members throughout the island. TAA has you covered for all kinds of roadside problems, from minor mechanical first aid to helping you change your tire. TAA provides access to an impressive and ever-expanding range of innovative and reliable services that allow you to drive with confidence. Membership starts at just $99 per year. TAA offers exceptional emergency roadside service and repair. Contact us today to find out how you can become a member. Becoming a member is simple and easy. Apply online today at taaroadside.com. Tortola Automobile Association. Safety on the road.
Welcome back to JTV News. In this week's big story, the BVI's biggest athletic star, Karen McMaster, his mom and coach, share with Kathy Richards the sacrifice and hard-won gains as the world takes notice that he's a force to reckon with.
Well, we run here in the British Virgin Islands on a tagline, Nature's Little Secret. But when little secrets start to spill out, they create a big stir. In this instance, a big stir is created by our guest, his family and coach, Karen McMaster, his mom, and the coach Dag. Welcome you guys to the studio. Karen, it's a big day for you. It's a big day for the British Virgin Islands. Tell us about the clouds that you're in right now.
Oh, way up high. I guess that comes with the success that I have achieved. So it is what it is.
Okay, you've been working really hard towards that day. Tell us about your road to accomplishing that very big dream.
Stay disciplined, train hard, repeat it every day, 6 days a week.
You train every day. How many hours a day?
Usually it ranges from about 12 hours, but it's like in segments, but we have like 3-hour breaks overall.
Okay, but before we go to some background information, quickly tell me about that specific day when you were in the dressing room waiting to come out and finally on the track waiting for that gun to fire off. Tell me about that moment.
It's just confidence, and confidence mixed with fright. So there's
with fright.
Yeah. At that moment, you have two options. You could either use fright or flight. You could either run from the race and just say you can do it the next day, or you could handle business right there and then.
And you handle the business
right there and then.
Mom, where were you in all of this?
I was at home when I get a phone call and get a phone call and they tell me, Kyron win the race. So they asked me if I'm ready for this. I said, tell me. And they tell me the news. And then I was silent for a while because of the time he ran. Because I was looking for that time in another one. So I was shocked. And then after that, I hang up the phone and I scream.
As with any other mother.
Yes, and I scream, and then phone calls come in, texts come in, and I was playing the tape.
Okay.
All day long.
Okay.
All day long. And still playing the tape.
Okay. But Dag, you were there at the moment.
Yes.
Tell me about your feelings then, what you expected, and when you got that outcome, if it was what you were expecting.
Of course, it may be going and it's already designed.
Wow.
It is already designed. So I would have been disappointed if he had done what he was supposed to do. But it was already designed. And at the end of the day, it's mission accomplished.
Okay.
So it's not that it wasn't anything for me to really jump up and not like how he would have done it or how he did it, but we accomplished what we set out to do, and that was important.
And that's great. But there is a backstory to all of this accomplishment for Kyron, for you, Dak, as a coach, and for you, Mom. Kyron was awarded a scholarship to, I think it is Atlanta University?
No, University of Florida.
The University of Florida, yes. And things did not go as planned. Tell me that story.
Oh, wait, you're talking about Central Arizona?
Yes.
Central
Tell
Arizona.
me about that story.
Basically, I got a scholarship to go there, and throughout my 2 semesters there, 1 year, I got injured while I was competing in indoor season, and basically they released me from the school because I couldn't contribute to the team anymore because of my injury. So at that moment, for them, they look at it as wasting money because we spend so much money on an athlete to come and he can't compete. But truth be told, they were solely responsible for my injury. So they basically got me in, used me, sent me back home in a way to say.
Oh, okay. And when you came out of that situation, came back home, did that in any way thwart your dream, your goal to pursue athletics further?
A bit, yeah, but I use that as a motivation because initially when I went to the doctor in the States, the doctor told me because of my injury, I won't be able to run again.
Did you give that doctor a phone call since Saturday?
No. After the doctor told me that, I called coach one time, and coach was like, don't mind him, he know what he's talking about because I've been training with coach for quite a time, so he knows me better than anyone. So in a nutshell, let's say if the school released me on a Monday, they called me to a meeting and said they could no longer fund me for the school. They released me on Monday. I was back on a plane the next day in Tortola.
Okay.
Training the Wednesday. And we did a lot of exercises to get my back where it needed to be. And 2 months later, I think it was, we got the bronze medal at World Juniors.
Okay, great. But Mom, that time when he was released from that scholarship that he had, how did the family come behind Kyron and maintain that stand that, look, despite this setback, we are still going to pursue?
When he came back home, he was home, Kyron? I was in the UK.
You was in the UK.
I was in the UK and his dad was home. So whatever the coach says, we agree with the coach. And we look at many options of his medical and see what's going on. And Dag is the one who was responsible for Kyron's recovery.
Tell me, Dag, how you did it. You know medical doctor, that I know for sure.
To be told that I think I should have been, but it's a lot of tender loving care. You know, you have to know the situations and you have to know how, you know, what to do, when to do, and that's all it is. And you know, along with some therapy.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, you know, Karen came home about Tuesday. He had a therapy session Wednesday morning, and Wednesday afternoon he was training.
Okay.
So you know, it just went on for until August. You know, so we just knew how to do, when to do, what to do. You know?
Okay.
So
where from here, where to for Kyron in terms of attending other meets and so?
Well, we spoke about it up to this morning. We have probably 4 more before the World Championships. We probably have 4 more hurdle meets. Next weekend we go down to Grenada. He wouldn't be doing the hurdles. But if you only know Kyron in the hurdles, you are also Kyron in the 100 meters and 200 meter runs.
Wow. This is news to my ears because, you know, I'm all thinking Kyron is just about jumping those hurdles.
No.
So you also do dash.
Yeah, of course.
Tell me about that. That's news.
Well, I love to do all of them. So hurdles, what we just did is just put ourselves in a position in the hurdles where we don't have to be focusing on getting where we need to be. So right now, I guess Coach and I could call this meet just to let the muscles feel how it feels to run.
But
Enjoy.
one thing that came out of that meet in Jamaica, one, you upset some people that, you know, really thought that they had it all made because you were in your hometown, and some other people who thought that, you know, I beat this little BVI chap, you know, sometime back, and, you know, he's no contest to me, but it seemed as though they took you for granted. But there was a phone call and you would have had some interactions with some very, very, very important people. Tell me about that. Usain Bolt's manager.
Well, he was standing next to me.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I mean, he didn't even give me a chance to take my phone out. You know, he had his phone in his hand and he's like, what's Kyron's father's name again? What's Kyron's father's name again? You know, what's his mother's name? What's his mother? And again, he's looking on the phone. What's the president's name? What's the president's name? And so before I can get anything done, he had already called.
Okay. You think you're going to be teaming up with Usain Bolt's manager for real?
That's on Coach.
Coach, what says now? Tell us the news.
Well, I mean, he has officially signed. He officially has an agent.
Okay.
He officially has an agent, and maybe now the option comes with shoe companies and so on. Those are options that's being laid out on the table. But now he has an agent. So the agent is, you know, I'll do the coaching, I do the managing. He will be the agent. He will look after the other things, and you know, I guess within the next 2 or 3 weeks,
we will know for sure
right.
where we go from there. Oh, wow. So, Kyron, as we wrap up this little discourse, I mean, throughout the weeks, throughout the months to come, we're going to continue to be hearing about you. You're going to continue to shine. Honorable Walwyn is the one who stood up in the House of Assembly not so long ago and gave a prediction that you are going to be that star athlete to bring home the first Olympic medals to the BVI. You believe that?
The last 3 years down the road, I can't happen 3 years down the road. But if everything goes according to plan, and that's with health, God spare life, health, and strength, I don't see why not. Like, as the commentator said in the race, that race would have won me the bronze medal at the Olympics that recently just went. So I don't see why not I should bring back a medal once everything goes according to plan. So if I don't bring back a medal, you know, it's somewhere down the line, something didn't went according to plan.
Okay, so, and you're a guy that is known to work with a plan.
Yeah, we work with a plan.
All right. I like how that is said. Also, you not only focus on the athletics side of you are an entrepreneur.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me, at 20 years old, right?
Yes, ma'am.
20 years old, you are an entrepreneur. Tell me about your business, what you do, and how you manage to stay focused on your career as an athlete and your life goals as a businessman.
Well, that's what you have parents for. You know? So it may have days when stuff may come hectic with me and my business. So that's when you go to your parents and they chip in their 1-2 cents. So me starting my business now was basically something to get me where I need to be in track and field, because as you can see, how to say this, there's not much support. So we solely work as a group within ourselves to support ourselves. Me, coach, my mom, my father. So that business is what basically started it.
How that business got off the road?
With the help of my parents.
And you did something that so many young people do not do.
Well, you know, I always wanted to be rich, so
I like your style. Tell it as it is.
I can't expect to put in work 26 years old to be rich 30 years old. I'll be rich by 26. I can put in the work from 20.
Okay, and you did some hard savings with your little lunch money, your little pocket piece, and so you started. What's the business you were into?
I have my own trucking business. You know, I have a 3-yard truck, and hopefully one day I could expand that into more and more. But as for now, we're more focusing on
the athletics.
So you wouldn't see my truck driving as much, because I don't like anybody driving my truck.
He's very particular for Marley.
Yes.
Very protective. Well, it was a great time talking with you guys, getting to meet you on this personal level, to get our audience seeing and hearing from you in this kind of setting, and the other side that many persons do not get to do. And so, as the secrets of this of nature continues to unfold and create a stir, we know great things will continue to happen right here in the British Virgin Islands. That's it for Big Story this week.
In Hot Trends with Sophie B, Swirls celebrates its first anniversary with a new and exciting menu that goes beyond getting your yogurt fix.
JTV Hot Trends, it's your girl, the one and only Sophie B, and we are here, ladies and gentlemen, at your frozen yogurt heaven, Swirls, located at the Tortola Pier Park, and I'm here with Mr. Glenn Harrigan. How are you today?
I'm doing just fine.
Great. Now, I think everybody is familiar with the 5 steps to Smilicious and getting their frozen yogurt. So I think you have something new now that you want to introduce to the people of the BVI.
Yes, we're just about to celebrate our first anniversary, actually. June 3rd would be a year since we are open, and we've just launched a new menu with lots of nice things, things that you can have for lunch, for dinner. So, we're pleased to, be able to offer that, and, we just want to showcase it to the people of the BVI.
Well, of course, you're known for your frozen yogurt. What made you decide, listen, we want to step into this whole, breakfast, lunch, dinner menu?
Well, people want, although yes, people love the yogurt, but, they want something more than that, and we want to be able to offer, all that people need. So, we said, well, let's offer, something for breakfast. So we have some items for that, some things for lunch, and, things for if you want to take a snack home, we have all of that.
All right. Now, let's talk about the items on the menu for a little bit. Now, these are some very creative items. Did you guys create these items yourselves here at Swirls, or you had inspiration from elsewhere?
Well, we did, take some inspiration from other places, but some of the items, we came up with them ourselves. Like the Johnny Waffle. That's, Johnny Cakes is a very common item here in the BVI. So we said, well, we do waffles, so let's create a Johnny Waffle. We actually have something we call a crepadilla, which is like a quesadilla, but done in a crepe. So that's something that we've created, and that's available as well.
I don't think I've ever seen a waffle pizza either, though.
Right. Well, yes, I think I wouldn't claim that we're the first to have done it, but I think we're the first to have done it in the BVI.
That's fair. That's good. All right. So we could expect more things to come on the menu, or this is it for now?
Well, there are more things. I mean, we have, for example, for like vegans and so on, we have like soy curls and so on. So anything that you see here, if you don't want chicken in it, you can have it with, what you call soy curls, which is, it's very delicious. And it's, totally vegan. We will always be innovating and trying to bring out new things. So we have a menu, yes, but, we'll want to have specials every now and again. And we'll be putting stuff out on Facebook. So you can always check our Facebook page and you can see all the, offerings that we have.
Now, your first anniversary, just tell us a little bit about how your first year went.
Well, we can say it was a good year. We started out in June, and those first 3 months, June, July, August, September, even though it was not the heart of the ship season, we did very well. And then we rolled into the ship season, and, it was very good, I would say. And we are now coming into, the off season again. But, we are trying to develop a strong local clientele. And I think we have that already, but we can always do it more. And we're actually now adding, for those, those persons who are always requesting that they want ice cream, So we have frozen yogurt, but they still want ice cream. So we're actually now introducing a machine that will be specifically for ice cream. It's brand new, and we're going to be launching that from next week.
Awesome stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you got to come on down to the Tortola Pier Park and visit Swirls, your treat heaven, sweet treat heaven, okay? You can find anything here, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and of course, to top it off, frozen yogurt, and to come, ice cream as well.
Remember to check out Hot Trends Wednesdays and Fridays on JTV 55 at 8 p.m. Up next in our Medical Minute, what you can do to prevent cancer. Dr. Geronimo Jones is next with the Mayo Clinic Medical Report.
Eureka, located in the British Virgin Islands. Come, discover Eureka Medical Clinic, which provides the most complete medical services in the Virgin Islands. Our state-of-the-art clinic offers the highest quality in specialty care, cardiology, gastroenterology, orthopedics, and spinal surgery. We also offer specialty care in obstetrics and gynecology, as well as dermatology. Eureka Medical Clinic offers diagnostic procedures such as x-rays, mammograms, CAT scans, and all forms of ultrasound exams. Now, for the first time in the BVI, Eureka offers MRI scanning too. With colonoscopy and gastroscopy, we check the intestines and stomach for polyps, colon cancer, and ulcers too. Located at Geneva Place in the heart of Road Town, Eureka Medical Clinic with Medicare Pharmacy and Labs offers you a comprehensive medical facility all under one roof. So for high-quality medical services and convenience, there's no need to look any further. Eureka, you found it.
You win the lottery? Yep, even better. I'm an investor. I insured my vehicle with Premier Insurance Limited. What's that? That insurance company, correction. My insurance company. We are multifaceted. Vehicle breaks down, we provide roadside assistance. We do it all. We make handling of these matters easy for our clientele, from vehicle rental, to parts at below cost, to body work and maintenance. We do it all. Captain, where you going?
I gotta change my insurance. I want to be an investor too.
Quality services and better benefits. Shares available to policyholders after 3 years. Zero deductible for third party. Free roadside assistance with policy. Discounts for government employees. Special rates for drivers under 23 and older. For more information, contact Premier Insurance Limited at 284-495-6800 or stop by our office located at the Sunday Morning Row, Chevelle Center, for a policy that's easy to swallow.
Results from the latest Mayo Clinic National Health Checkup Survey show Americans who are concerned about cancer may not be aware of all the ways they can prevent it. That's one of the benefits of this survey, explains Dr. John Wald, Medical Director for Public Affairs at the Mayo Clinic. It allows us to understand where there are gaps in information and to address them. For example, Dr. Wald says 84% of survey participants indicated they would use a cancer prevention vaccine. However, only 40% of women and fewer than 10% of men currently get the cancer prevention vaccine for HPV. That tells us there's a disconnect, explains Dr. Wald. And that's an opportunity for us to create a new conversation. In this Mayo Clinic Minute, Dr. Wald states that conversation with 5 simple cancer prevention strategies you can work into your life.
When asked about the greatest challenges in healthcare, participants in Mayo Clinic's National Health Checkup put cancer at the top of the list.
For someone that's listed cancer as the #1 concern, I would say we're making great inroads into cancer treatment and prevention.
Dr. John Wald is Medical Director for Public Affairs at Mayo Clinic. He points to breast cancer treatment as one example of the strides being made.
If you look at the overall survival rate for all forms of breast cancer, that survival rate is now greater than 90%.
As researchers continue their investigations, Dr. Wald says there are things you can do to improve your personal odds against cancer. First,
get screened, whether that's for prostate cancer or breast cancer. We as Americans have to be screened, and then there are the other things that we can do.
At the top of that list, don't smoke. Eat a balanced diet, exercise regularly, and ask your doctor about any available cancer prevention vaccines. For the Mayo Clinic News Network, I'm Jeff Olson.
Before we go, a brief look at the main headlines. Communications and Works Minister Mark Vanterpool proposes a symposium to foster open discussion among customers and broadband service providers to assist in solving the territory's inconsistent internet speed challenges. Former opposition leader Julian Fraser says the government is under threat of being investigated as a 5th UK national is appointed to a prominent government post in the Dr. D. Orlando Smith administration. BVI Athletics Association appeals to businesses to get on board in supporting local athletes after Karen McMaster blows away Jamaican star hurdler on his home turf. BVI lander Sheldon Frets' film career buoyed by home support after role in Fox TV series Shots Fired and hints at even bigger roles to come. CEO of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourist Association says the resurgence of Cuba is a great disruption for the good of the Caribbean, including the BVI. The big story, BVI athletic star Karen McMaster says in a few weeks more details should be available on his negotiations with Usain Bolt's manager. In regional news, talks of a possible coalition government in the Cayman Islands as independents take the majority of seats in the election, just one short to form an outright government. And Liat pilots call off industrial action after informal agreement is reached on implementation of salary increases agreed in 2012. Now, just a reminder that you can find all the news stories featured in this newscast, as well as previous newscasts, on our website, jtvlive.net. Additional information and news updates can be found on our Facebook page, facebook.com/JTV55. If you haven't already, please visit our Facebook page to let us know that you like us. Of course, all our news features, press conferences, and JTV's television programs can be found on our JTV News YouTube channel. Subscribe for daily uploads. We welcome your questions and comments and story ideas. Email us at jtvnews@hotmail.com. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Peter Gay Coombs. Thank you for watching.